Welcome back to the Schmitty Outdoorsman YouTube channel. Today we're talking about just my hunting bow and the setup that I run. This is the first bow I ever bought. It's the only bow I've ever bought. And just want to go over today kind of why I chose this bow over others and what I was looking for. This is the Bear Adapt. And I bought it in a ready-to-hunt package, which means it came with this sight, it came with a Whisker Biscuit style rest. I have since upgraded to a drop-away rest, but it comes with a Whisker Biscuit style rest, and then it also comes with a stabilizer and a wrist sling. Those are all things you're going to need to be able to go out there and shoot your bow. You need the rest so that your arrow can rest on it and shoot off of it. You need the sight so you can aim at what you're shooting at. And then the stabilizer just helps stabilize the bow in your hand, and the wrist sling is just a handy thing to help make sure you have the bow secure in your hand as well. There are other bows out there, when you go and buy them, they won't come with all that stuff, so you'll then have to buy that stuff on top of it. Now this is a relatively cheaper option. Came in at $600 for the package. There are cheaper bows out there, but I don't know if I would necessarily trust them to humanely harvest an animal. There's probably exceptions. I'm sure there are cheaper options that would do that, but when I was doing my research and looking into it, this is what I felt was a good middle ground. It wasn't stupid expensive, but it wasn't also this cheap thing that I felt wasn't gonna perform well. Sky's the limit when it comes to bows. You can go buy these $2,000, $3,000 bows, and then you still have to buy the other components to go along with it. So I liked that this was a ready to hunt package, and I felt that it would help me in my process of learning how to hunt and shoot a bow. It would be set up for a good beginner. Something you may notice is it has a wheel up here, and then this not quite fully round circular object, but more like kind of an eggish shape. This is called the cam down here. So this is what's known as a solo cam bow. It only has one cam. Some more expensive options and even some cheaper options will have a dual cam setup. Now with speed, that's a lot of what the cams have to do, is you can get more speed with a better cam setup and with a dual cam setup. But you lose some of the smoothness when you're drawing back your bow. With a solo cam, they typically are smoother. And they're better for beginners with being a solo cam bow. Because they have that smooth draw cycle, it's not as jarring, and it's easier to learn how to shoot with them. They're a little bit more forgiving. With dual cams, you got to make sure your bow's in time, and opens up a whole nother can of worms when you have that. So this is just a good beginner-friendly option. If you're looking to get a bow, I would highly suggest, if it's your first bow and you're newer to archery, I would highly suggest getting a solo cam style bow as your first bow, and then maybe later on you look into getting a dual cam. And I'm not saying you can't get a dual cam right off the top. You can if that's your decision. I'm not going to discourage anyone from that. But I do think these solo cams are more forgiving, which is why I went with it. I have drawn back some dual cam options in the bow shop when I was looking at different bows to get. And I did feel that this was smoother and did feel it was more forgiving. If you go talk to anyone who knows about bows, they'll tell you the same thing. So that's my suggestion. But I truly think this is the perfect option out there. Bear has, since I bought this bow, come out with the Bear Adapt 2. And they also have the Bear Adapt 2, I want to say Plus or HP, something of that nature. And that is a dual cam bow. That's basically an Adapt just with dual cams. And those are also good options. I would still suggest the solo cam if it's your first ever bow, but they have the Bear Adapt 2. out now, which has a little bit of better upgraded stuff than this bow does, and I would suggest that. I would have gotten it had it been out when I bought my bow. Sadly, it came out like literally right after I bought this bow. But I think, personally, this is just a really good option for a beginner bow. Has everything you need to just go out there and start shooting and being prepared and learning how to shoot if you're going to go hunting with it. Like I said, it came with the sight, came with all that ready to hunt package, for a relatively cheap price when it comes to bows, and it still is an amazing, phenomenal bow. And it's not this cheap option that's not going to do you any good. There are other options out there that are similar to this too. I recommend you do your research on what you want to get. I want to talk about this. Well, upgrades I did. It was like the first upgrade I did to this bow, and I would, if you were to upgrade the bow, something I would suggest you do too is, like I said, I upgraded to a drop away style rest. Now, what the drop away rest does is, or let me first explain a whisker biscuit. A whisker biscuit is a rest that has a bunch of little like brush bristles in it, and that's what holds the arrow in it. Holds the arrow. Now, when you shoot your arrow through it, the veins go through those bristles, and it has the ability to kind of affect the flight of your arrow. With this drop away rest, it has arms that when you pull the string back on your bow, it lifts the arms up and your arrow sits on that. And when you release the string and shoot your arrow, the arms drop down, allowing your arrow to shoot through without the veins or the shaft of the arrow contacting anything, and it's just a clean flight, and it gives you better accuracy. So if you're going to upgrade something first, that's the first thing I would upgrade. The other thing I've upgraded is the sight, or the peep. This is what's known as a peep, this little circular thing. And on this bow, it comes with a tube peep. Now, works just fine, but I've upgraded to a more standard peep that most people use. It gives you a bit better of a sight picture. Now, what the peep is it sits in your bowstring. When you draw back your bow, you look through a hole in the peep and you line it up with your the side of your bow, and that's how it's kind of looking through a scope of a rifle. And so I did upgrade to a peep to make that a little bit clearer too. Those are the only two things I've modified to this bow, and I think those have done me well, and those would be the suggestions I would give to you if you want to upgrade. Now, I didn't upgrade immediately. I shot with the original things that came on with it on the bow for a while before I decided to upgrade. But I do think the upgrades have made it a bit nicer to shoot and made my accuracy better. That's why I chose this bow, is it was affordable within my budget and was still a very good option that I felt was going to not give me any issues. My biggest thing to you guys is do your research and figure out what's going to work for you, and just make sure you're buying a bow that's going to work for you and not cause you any issues. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me, and we'll see you next time on Schmitty Outdoorsman.